Welcome to our channel. Today, we will talk about two giants of the gaming industry, Sony and Nintendo. These companies have been competing with each other for decades, creating some of the most iconic consoles and games in history. We will plunge into the history of their rivalry, find out what was behind their successes and failures, and why their struggle for the hearts of gamers continues to this day. Stay tuned to find out who will emerge victorious in the Battle of the Titans. The history of Nintendo begins long before video games became popular. The company was founded in 1889 in Kyoto, Japan, and initially produced hand food cards. Over the years, Nintendo tried its hand at various businesses, including taxis, hotels, and toys, before focusing on video games. In the 1970s, as the video game industry began to gain momentum, Nintendo decided to enter this field. They started by creating arcade games and gradually moved on to developing home consoles. In 1983, Nintendo released its first console, the Famicom, known outside Japan as the Nintendo Entertainment System NES. The NES quickly became a hit and helped rebuild the video game market after the 1983 crash. Fun fact: initially, Nintendo planned to make the Famicom an exclusively home gaming system, but after successfully testing several arcade games, they realized that they could achieve more success by combining both directions. It was this decision that became the key to their future success. Unlike Nintendo, Sony started out as a company specializing in electronics. Founded in 1946 in Tokyo, Japan, Sony quickly became one of the leaders in consumer electronics, releasing iconic products such as transistor radios and Walkman. The idea of creating a game console originated with Sony in the early 1990s. At this time, they were already collaborating with Nintendo, developing CD-ROMs for the SNES. However, due to disagreements, the project was closed, and Sony decided to enter the video game market on its own. In 1994, they released their first console, the PlayStation. The console instantly gained popularity due to its powerful features and a large number of high-quality games. An interesting point: the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario and Zelda, once said, "If Sony hadn't made the PlayStation, maybe we would still be working together." This statement shows how closely the destinies of these two companies are intertwined. In the 1990s, a battle between 16-bit consoles unfolded. Nintendo's Super Nintendo Entertainment System SNES and Sega Genesis Mega Drive in some regions collided in the arena. Although this was not a direct clash between Sony and Nintendo, this confrontation laid the foundations for future conflicts. Nintendo has focused on creating high-quality games for its console. Games such as Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Donkey Kong Country have become icons of the gaming industry. Sega, in turn, responded by releasing hits such as Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage. Fun fact: during the advertising campaign, Sega used the slogan "Sega does what Nintendo doesn't," which fueled interest and competition between fans of both consoles. This phrase has become iconic and is still remembered in gaming circles. When Sony released the PlayStation in 1994, it marked the beginning of a new era in the gaming industry. PlayStation quickly gained popularity due to its technical characteristics and a huge number of games. In response, Nintendo released the Nintendo 64 in 1996. The console had its strengths, such as advanced 3D graphics and a revolutionary controller, but faced serious competition from the PlayStation. One of the main reasons for the PlayStation's success was the involvement of third-party developers. Sony actively collaborated with studios such as Square, Konami, and Capcom, which allowed them to release hits such as Final Fantasy V, Metal Gear Solid, and Resident Evil, while Nintendo continued to rely on its in-house studios and exclusive franchises such as Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. An interesting point: one of the most famous episodes in the history of PlayStation is the announcement of Final Fantasy V at E3 1995. This game, originally developed for Nintendo, became a PlayStation exclusive, which was a huge blow for Nintendo and one of the reasons why many gamers switched sides with Sony. Sony released the PlayStation 2, which became the best-selling console of all time. The PS2 offered not only improved graphics and powerful technical specifications, but also the ability to play DVDs, which made it attractive not only to gamers, but also to a wide audience. In response, Nintendo released the GameCube in 2001. Even though the GameCube had its strengths such as compact design and great games, including including Super Smash Bros., Melee and The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. It couldn't compete with the PS2 in terms of sales. One of the reasons for this was the lack of DVD support, which limited its functionality compared to the PS2. Fun fact, the GameCube is nicknamed the toaster because of its unique design and carrying handle. Despite this, the console remains a favorite among many gamers for its innovative games and unique style. With the release of the PlayStation 3 in 2006, Sony continued its strategy of creating powerful consoles with advanced technology. The PS3 offered improved graphics, Blu-ray disc support, and an online PlayStation Network service. However, the high price and complex architecture of the console created problems at the start of sales. At the same time, Nintendo took a completely different approach with the release of the Wii. The console, also released in 2006, focused on an innovative motion-enabled controller, which attracted a wide audience, including those who had not previously played video games. Wii Sports has become a cultural phenomenon that has won the hearts of millions of people around the world. In 2013, Sony released the PlayStation 4, which has become incredibly popular due to its powerful hardware, user-friendly interface, and excellent games. PS4 quickly gained a leading position in the market, leaving its competitors behind. Nintendo, in turn, responded with the release of the Nintendo Switch in 2017. This hybrid console, which can be used as a portable device and as a home system, instantly gained popularity. Games such as The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey have become hits and attracted the attention of millions of gamers. Fun fact: one of the first Switch prototypes was developed using conventional Wii tablets and controllers. Nintendo's management liked this idea so much that they decided to continue development in this direction, which eventually led to the creation of one of the most innovative consoles on the market. One of the key reasons why the confrontation between Sony and Nintendo is so exciting is their different game philosophy. Sony has always relied on powerful consoles with advanced technology and the involvement of third-party developers. This allowed them to create realistic and exciting games with a deep plot and impressive graphics. Nintendo, in turn, has focused on innovation and creating a unique gaming experience. Their games are often characterized by bright and colorful design, accessibility for all ages, and unique mechanics that make the game experience unforgettable. It is thanks to this that Nintendo has been able to win the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. An interesting point: one day Shigeru Miyamoto said, "We are not competing with Sony and Microsoft. We are competing for people's time." This phrase perfectly reflects Nintendo's philosophy of creating games that bring joy and pleasure, regardless of the technological characteristics of the console. One of the most interesting aspects of the Sony-Nintendo standoff is their iconic franchises and characters. Nintendo has created legendary heroes such as Mario, Link, and Donkey Kong, who have become symbols of the gaming industry. These characters and their adventures have captured the hearts of millions of gamers and have remained popular for decades. Sony has also created many icons that have become an integral part of their success. Kratos from God of War, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and Ellie from The Last of Us. All these characters have become fan favorites and helped Sony strengthen its position in the market. Games with these characters offer deep plots, exciting gameplay, and high-quality graphics. Fun fact: at one of the game events, the developers of God of War and Super Mario Odyssey exchanged jokes that their characters could work well together in one game. Imagine Kratos and Mario joining forces to save the world from villains. With the development of technology and the emergence of new platforms, the confrontation between Sony and Nintendo continues to be relevant. In 2020, Sony released the PlayStation 5, which offers even more powerful hardware, improved graphics, and faster downloads. At the same time, Nintendo continues to develop its Switch line, releasing new games and updates to keep gamers interested. An interesting point: analysts predict that in the future Sony and Nintendo may try to integrate virtual reality technologies into their consoles. This will open up new opportunities for gamers and make the gameplay even more exciting and realistic. Fun fact: once the head of Nintendo and the head of Sony met at a gaming conference and joked that it would be interesting to create a joint console that combines the best features of both companies. For now, it remains only a joke, but who knows what the future will bring. That's what the battle between Sony and Nintendo was and remains. These companies not only compete with each other, but also inspire each other to create new, innovative products that delight millions of gamers around the world. Their rivalry shows that there is always room for new ideas and great achievements in the world of video games. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so that you don't miss new exciting stories. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.